Fala família Agostinhos Music, tudo bem? Hoje nós temos uma exclusiva entrevista com Thompson, um dos precursores do white metal. Fica comigo!
Say he's weak, he's a super freak, don't believe that he came.
Hello, I'm Troy Thompson with Bride, and I was sent some questions to answer for an interview, so let's get started.
Troy, como foi o seu início na música? E por que você escolheu a guitarra como seu instrumento?
Well, I started playing music when I was 7 years old. I started playing the violin. I came from a very musical family. When I was about age 11 or 12, I kind of switched over to guitar. I never stopped playing violin and eventually picked up cello and other instruments as well. But it seemed like that's the instrument that I could write songs with. It was a lot easier to come up with riffs on a guitar than it was any other instrument. So that's why I think I chose guitar.
Troy, como nasceu a banda Bride e como você enxerga a banda no cenário cristão?
Dell and I started a band in 1983 called Matrix. And that eventually turned into Bride by 1985, and we recorded our first album, Show No Mercy. We've recorded about 20 major release albums since then, with our latest being Vipers and Shadows. But through that time frame, we've played for hundreds of thousands of people and traveled hundreds of thousands of miles. So I think that God has used us. 40 years ago, the Christian music scene and for rock and roll was very difficult. So I think we helped pave a way for those who came after us. So we kind of paid some of the dues and did some of the heavy lifting so that others could come along after us and it'd be a little easier for them. So I think that's the legacy that Bride has.
Troy, quais são as suas maiores influências musicais?
My biggest musical influence. Well, for a long time as a teenager, I did not listen to secular music. So when I was starting off playing guitar, my musical influences were local people in local Christian bands. So that's where I pulled a lot of my initial influence from, was just some local musicians as we would play and jam, and I would go watch them.
Como vocês fazem para equilibrar o rock pesado com a mensagem cristã?
In our band, Bride, I always wrote the music and Dale wrote the lyrics. So I would write riffs and Dale would write words, and we would get together and we would decide which of his lyrics went best with my riffs. So we never really tried to balance the message with music per se. I just wrote what I felt came natural, and then Dale and I would get together and we would form the songs.
Troy, qual música do Bride marcou mais a tua trajetória cristã?
Well, I think that there's a couple of songs. One is Everybody Knows My Name. That particular song kind of explains our journey, how we started off with basically nobody knowing who you are, to the point to where you build a fan base and you continue on. It's important as you become more popular that you present yourself before people in a positive way and follow the gospel. So Everybody Knows My Name. The other is Psychedelic Super Jesus. That particular song talks about how so many people view Christ as an idol and not as the Son of God and the Savior of the world. To him, or to them, he's just some hippie figure who might have been kind of cool or not, but so I think those two songs really helped identify our journey the most.
Ao longo dos anos, como a sua fé influenciou as suas composições e forma de tocar?
I don't know that faith has influenced the way that I write music, because I believe I was given a gift, and I just write the music. I guess I could have chosen to write it only secular songs or things like that, but I chose to try to use my talents for the Lord. So I don't know that faith has influenced how I write songs, to be truthful.
Troy, você sempre usou muitas guitarras semi-acústicas, uma guitarra não muito usada no rock pesado. Por quê?
From early on, I've tried different guitars, and Dale suggested that I use a semi-hollow body and try it, and it turns out that it has the tone and the sound that I like. It has a lot of air inside and allows the sound to resonate. It's difficult to get used to using a semi-hollow body because of the feedback you can experience, but I found out that if you hold your guitar a certain way and learn how to play it properly, that you can actually have better sustain and all kinds of interesting things and just get a better overall tone, or at least it works that way for me.
Como fazer o som da banda Bride? Que setup você usa?
Early on when we recorded, we used lots of amplifiers and lots of microphones and all kinds of different scenarios. I had used a Mesa Boogie amplifier almost exclusively. But as time went on, our last 5 or 6 albums, I just have been using a pedal. It's a Roland RP 2000. It's an old pedal, and I like the sounds from it. And it kind of makes it easy, because once you record in studios now, you can modify the sound quite a bit. So that's what I use to get in my basic simple sounds, is just a pedal board.
O que mudou no seu estilo de tocar do início da banda até hoje?
When I first started playing, there was a lot of very technical, very incredible players. So I tried to mimic them to some degree, and I realized I was never going to be an Yngwie Malmsteen kind of player, super technical, super fast. That just wasn't who I was going to be. So I started just playing more what was comfortable and what felt right, and that was just blues-based rock music. And so I think that I've changed over just to be more of a blues-based player and less technical player, and I feel more comfortable with that.
Nesses anos todos, Troy, tem algum momento inesquecível da sua carreira?
Well, I think that this goes for anybody who was with us at the time, but our first show in Brazil was absolutely incredible. When they reached out to us and told us they wanted us to come, and we showed up. We're like, well, this is going to be new because we've never been here before. And then the promoter took us to a massive soccer stadium and said, you'll be playing here. And we thought, wow, this is going to be really, really bad, because filling up even the floor of a soccer stadium would be incredible. So we weren't very hopeful. But when it came time for the show, the soccer stadium was full. They told us that there was over 100,000 people there. And it was the most amazing, magical experience we could have ever hoped for, being able to present the gospel to that many people on a stage that large. So definitely subsequent shows in Brazil were large and amazing. That's why that's the best place to play on the planet that we've ever been to, is Brazil.
Como você vê o legado do Bride depois de tantas décadas?
I do think we'll be remembered as some of the pioneers of Christian rock music, because we started, in '83, so we've been at it a while. Things have changed so much. When you first recorded an album, you had to have a record deal, had to be put into physical stores where people went and bought your albums. Now things are just so much different. People prefer to stream music more so than own the CDs, and albums are actually making a comeback, and they're outselling the CDs now. So I think that the way that things have evolved, that our legacy will endure for quite some time, because things are stored in the cloud, on the internet forever. So maybe in 100 years, somebody will rediscover our music, and it will bless them still.
Que conselho você daria aos jovens que querem seguir o mesmo caminho da banda Bride?
I think when you're young, you need to practice. You need to develop your skills and get your chops and decide what direction you want to go. But for me, I stopped practicing many years ago. I don't try to get any better as a player. It just requires so much time. I just try to maintain my level of playing. I advise all young guitarists, once you get to a certain level, start writing songs. Every time I pick up a guitar, I try to write a new riff or a new song. I don't sit down and really run scales anymore like I used to years and years ago. So if you're an up-and-coming player, you're going to be remembered for the songs you write, not necessarily the fast solos you play. So try to be tasteful in all that you do and just write good songs.
Quais são os próximos passos da banda Bride? Tem algum lançamento?
Well, we just released a double album. We've never done that before, Vipers and Shadows. So I think that we're going to continue to write music as long as we feel led that is still our calling. So we try to release an album every year and a half. We could write an album every 3 months, but people just won't. They just don't buy that many albums or that many songs, so we would saturate the market, and people would just start ignoring us because of the amount of content we would put out. So we'll probably keep touring the best we can. As we're getting older, it gets more difficult to be on the road, and we'll continue to record.
Como é trabalhar com seu irmão todos esses anos?
Waddell and I have always been writing partners. I've never really written songs with anybody else. We kind of have this chemistry that works out well for what we do. So the way that things work, we both have to agree that a song is good. It can't be that one of us is like, well, I don't care what you think, I'm going to pursue this. I mean, we both have to be in agreement that a song is good before we continue. We both have to be in agreement that we need to do a particular show. If one of us has a bad feeling about something or just doesn't like it, we rework it until we like it, or we just discard it. So he's been a good writing partner for what we do, and I can't imagine trying to write with anybody else at this point, because we have such a good way that we do things.
O álbum Snakes in the Playground é um clássico. O que ele representa para você?
Well, that song or album was our most popular. That's 1992-93, and that's when albums and CDs were really selling well. And that particular CD sold over 100,000 copies for us, and we got to play everywhere. We were in all the festivals, and it was very popular. So that really helped establish us in the Christian rock music industry. We got a lot of fans from that album, and of course right before that was Kinetic Faith, so that started the momentum. Then Snakes in the Playground, and then we did Scarecrow Messiah, so things just really kept progressing for us. So that album, of course, will always be our most popular album.
O Bride tem uma grande história com o Brasil. Pode falar sobre isso?
So we've been coming to Brazil for almost 30 years now. Actually, it's been over 30 years. And every time we come, it's just incredible. I mean, the people are just amazing. What is so cool now is we are seeing people who was at some of our first shows in the early 90s, and they have told us, I was a teenager when I came and saw you, and you helped lead me to the Lord. And then they show up at our shows and they have their kids with them who are teenagers. So we get to see the seeds we planted 30 years ago and come back and see that they have grown and matured and that they're continuing to grow. So as I mentioned before, Brazil is the most amazing place to play for us of anywhere. We've been all over the world playing, and it is our most favorite place to play.
Você pode deixar uma mensagem para os fãs brasileiros?
I hope that everyone in Brazil gets a chance to see us play live or gets a chance to make it. We don't play every city. Brazil is a very large country, and we normally go to some of the major cities, Rio de Janeiro, Sao Paulo. We play Recife, Curitiba, Porto Alegre, Brasilia. We play a lot of different places, so it requires people to have to travel, and that takes time and money. But we always enjoy coming to Brazil, and we hope that before we stop coming to Brazil, which I don't know when that will be, but I hope everybody who wants to see us gets a chance to see us, because it's a wonderful place to play. So I guess that concludes the interview. Thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity, and we will see you soon. God bless.